Hey, thanks for joining me. My name is Ari Greenbaum. I'm one of the co-founders of conXpros. I've written some articles in the past and shared on our blog some articles regarding the importance of text messaging when it comes to contacting leads, making contact with the homeowners that we are getting over to you. And I felt it was imperative that I recorded a video sharing some ideas, some statistics to understand really the impact that text messaging will have on your ability to communicate with your leads and, more importantly, secure more appointments and more jobs. This is something internally, and I'll share some statistics shortly, that internally we incorporate into our own system, our lead verification department, and has drastically changed the results as far as contact rates, quality contacts, and also appointment setting or assistance with appointment setting for our clients. So before we even get into statistics, because some of them are eye-popping, I did want to just share with you the basics of text messaging and why it is so important. Well, the first thing is we're living in 2020. I don't need statistics to tell me that most people live by their thumbs and not their voice. I could just look at our teenage children and I could see how they communicate with each other. And again, yeah, I understand they are teenagers and they're kids, but adults aren't so different. You go to a restaurant, you see people on their phones texting away. This is the way that the world has chosen to communicate these days. So in lead generation, when you're dealing with consumers as a home improvement pro, you have to be able to communicate with people in a way that they want to be communicated with. So are we saying that the phone is dead or email isn't a good means of communicating? Absolutely not. But when you add text messaging into the equation, numbers, results, and of course profitability skyrockets. So I've shared some articles, and you can look here in the posting itself, and I'll link to some of those articles relating to the importance of text messaging, some case studies, and just some general information of why it is so important. But what I want to focus on today is the statistical side of it and how impactful it will be to your business. So I'm going to minimize and share some statistics with you so you can see them visually as well as hear them from me. And I pulled up some statistics. I did some research on this just in general, not just talking about the home improvement field, not talking about just leads, but I wanted to get some general statistics regarding text messaging versus phone or voice, especially in the business world, and then also text messaging versus email. As a company, we've always encouraged our clients to be diligent about phone calls, and that does not change. Still making calls immediately, following up the same day, making additional calls as well. We've always encouraged also sending emails. Again, we want to reach people the best way we can. But since we've incorporated text messaging, and these statistics are only going to support this, we've seen and we've heard feedback from our clients that is absolutely astounding in some cases. So these are statistics that are from the CTIA. I didn't know what that was either before I looked it up, but that's the Cellular Telecommunications and Internet Association. Well-respected source. They did a survey back in 2019, and these are some of the results that they came up with. They shared that 84% of consumers will not answer calls from an unknown caller. This does not mean because on the caller ID it says unknown or blocked number. Just from a number that is not familiar to you, and I am, as a person, I do this myself. If I don't know a number, I am highly unlikely that I'm going to answer that call. I'll let them leave a message, and if I choose to call back, I will. So homeowners and consumers are no different. They are, as we see the statistic here, 84% of them are not going to answer a call if they don't know your number. Now, additionally, this was massive. 76% of consumers, they say, do not like talking to a business. And again, in the communications-oriented business like we're in, that is tough to swallow. But when you see the next statistic, that 67% of consumers prefer to text with a business as opposed to talking with them over the phone. Now, there's obviously reasons why. Not every moment is everyone available to take a phone call. Text, very easy to do. Even if you're in a place that you really shouldn't be doing so, you can get away with it. Phone, voice, a little more challenging. You have to be in a good place, you have to be in a quiet place, you have to be able to be in the right mindset to take a phone call. Text you can control a lot more. So it's not so surprising that in a world where smartphones are in literally over 90% of the population's hands, that people are preferring an electronic means of communication, and text is the one of choice. So the further statistics, because we used to encourage people to email, make sure you're not just calling, email as well. But when we saw the rates of text message versus email, and that's some of the statistics here that I just wanted to share with you. The open rates on a text are dwarfing those of an email. Emails often go to spam, get ignored because there's so much other junk that's coming in. But and these are business email or business text statistics, that coming from a text, 96% open rate. That is versus a 20% open rate for email. Even more astounding is the response rate, that out of those people that open those texts, 45% respond. From email, only 6%. Obvious question is posed then, well, what's more effective, sending an email or sending a text? Clearly, texting is much more effective, but it doesn't mean we should stop emailing either, because we don't want to miss opportunities for folks that are inclined to respond to an email. Our own internal lead verification department, at the idea of someone here internally that runs the department, they said, why don't we text people? And at first we didn't want to do it because it's such a laborious activity, but we decided, hey, let's test it out. The test, they blew away any anticipated numbers, and we decided to incorporate it immediately, no matter how time-consuming and no matter how challenging it is, because of the benefits of it. So I just want to share with you some of those concepts of what we do and how impactful it's been for our clients and our own internal abilities to verify leads. So we don't start our text process. We start our call process within 30 to 120 minutes after the lead is submitted. An email is going out immediately, but we start our text process on average, sometimes shorter, sometimes a little longer, but on average 3 to 4 hours after a lead is getting submitted and delivered to our client. We then send the second text 24 hours following the first text. So we're sending 2 texts. The majority, 85% plus, of the texts that get responded to are on that first text approach. Now, our verification rate of leads before we incorporated text to our process, meaning we only did phone calls and email, was 39%. Not bad. But it jumped up to 64%, and that's when we were doing text in the process. That is a massive increase. Recently, another idea that we had was to help our clients. Not every client is applied to, but many of our clients have a scheduling link, whether it's to something on their website or through a scheduling app. So we asked them, hey, provide us the link, and we're happy to incorporate the text that we're sending. So we started incorporating this, and the statistics have been awesome. Clients are ecstatic about this, but service-related categories, things like pest control, electrical, HVAC service, plumbing, service or I need something now kind of industries, they have a 38% appointment set rate just from text alone. So meaning out of every 100 texts we're sending that have a link for an appointment ability, 38 out of 100 are choosing to set up an appointment without even talking to our client, just going through that link, setting up the appointments as planned. Construction-related, categories similar to roofing, painting, the more construction-oriented trades, they are not nearly as high. They're at 26%, but that means that 1 out of every 4 that are getting delivered are getting a response back. So what can we do with this information? That's the real question. I mean, statistics are wonderful. They're an awesome tool. Their data is a great guide. But at the end of the day, what can we learn and extrapolate from this? You must incorporate text. I can't stress it enough. If you are doing text, you are setting yourself up for success. Without text, you're going to be behind the times. It's not something that any of us can control. It's just the nature of the world we live in currently, the way that people communicate and choose to communicate with companies, as we saw. So if you're not already incorporating text into your process and making it a consistent thing, I highly encourage you to do so immediately. I've also shared, and in those links that I'm sharing in the copy below this video on this post, you'll see some links there and some ideas of what you can do. There are many, many outlets out there that can automate your texting for you. Unfortunately, on our scale, we don't have the ability to automate it yet. We're working on it. But for an individual company with a consumer you're communicating with, there are many ways to automate this. So you can get your text out immediately. Literally, the second a lead is delivered, having that sent. Even if you're doing it manually, after you made a first phone call, immediately send a text. You'll be amazed at how many people respond to it. And again, if they don't know who you are on that call, but they get a text explaining who it is, even if they're not texting back, very likely they will call you back because they know who you are at this point. You're not unknown to them. Texting is the way of the future. I'm not a texter myself. It's not my thing. I don't like communicating that way. But at the same time, I love success. I love making money. And that's what I want for our clients. That's what I want for anybody that's in the home improvement or home services field, is to be successful as possible. The sooner you incorporate text into your process and make it, as I said, a consistent thing, you will see an increase in results. I appreciate you tuning in and wish you continued success.